guys, Amanda here with Moses and Me Carbon Company. Today I'm going to segue into some Valentine's Day cards, and as I was cleaning up my Christmas supplies, I ran into a Tailored Expressions sweater weather stencil die and clear combo, so clear stamp set. These make Christmas sweaters, but last year they added on to them for Valentine's Day sweaters. So they've got these little stamps that have hearts on them, and this is called Valentine Sweater Weather. So that coordinates with it. And they also added on a foilet for Valentine sweater weather, so you can kind of create heart-themed sweaters. And this cute little dinky decorations Valentine Day set that can make little hearts and stuff that can go on the front of the sweaters. So there you have the collection we're going to start with, and I will look forward to seeing how many cards we can create using this little kit. So stay tuned. Thanks so much. All right, I thought I'd kind of take you along with the process. So I took out 3 foilet sheets and I foiled them using 3 different colors from Tailored Expressions. The first one is their Cherry Pop color. So it's a pretty red and you can kind of see that shine. And then I used, this is kind of a pretty gold. This is called Champagne. I was going to say it looks like a champagne gold. Go figure. And so that one's real pretty. And then lastly, I brought in the Silver Shimmer, which this one didn't foil quite as well. You can see a couple of the hearts have some missing pieces, but it still did okay, so we're going to use it. So there you have that piece, and now let's go ahead and start the stenciling process. And I will show you which colors I end up choosing for that. Okay, so it looks like there are 3 stencils for each of these. So I am going to, on my Champagne one, do Blush Apple and Cranberry. I believe these are reds. And then on my red one, I'm going to do Guava, Watermelon, and Cherry. And then on my silver panel, I'm going to do Tide Pool, Tropic, and Aegean. These are all from Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink pad. So let's see how those turn out. All right, so we got our 3 panels blended. Starting with the Champagne sweaters, I used the color that I thought I was going to use, which is the Blush Apple and Cranberry. Those are kind of nice. They're almost like a watermelon red kind of color. And then for the second one, I changed my mind and I did use Tide Pool and Tropic, but I brought in the Cranberry for the red accent. I thought that kind of looked nice with that color. As you can see, I kind of got out of the lines a little bit, so we'll see how that looks after I die cut them. Maybe it's a little bit more forgiving. For the next one, I went ahead, since I was liking the red hearts with this tide kind of color, the red and the tide, I went ahead with this combination. This is Tide Pool, Tropic, and Aegean. So you guys got the little green and the red there, which I think kind of goes nicely together. And then lastly, I decided I would go ahead and ink blend one panel that doesn't have the foilet, so that we can see what it looks like when we stamp on top of it. So again, you can see I kind of messed up some of the lines, lining up some things, so it's a little bit off, but I don't think that's going to matter that much after we get stamping. So we'll find out though. So here are the 4 panels that I have, and now let's start creating cards with them. All right, here are the 8 cards we were able to create using this product. For starting off, I started relatively easily. I brought in some pattern paper that I really like. This is from Queen and Company, and this is their Happy Hearts collection, which has some really pretty reds, pinks, and blues that kind of all coordinate together. So that makes it really easy. And I had a blues and red sweater, so I thought, perfect, that works perfectly. And then I also brought in some new frames. This is from Penny Black. Let me get those. That is called Lovely Layers. I'm sorry, Lovely Border. And it cuts out this cute little border that has these inlaid hearts, which I think is really pretty. So I used that several times for these cards. And then the little heart on the sweater is part of the dinky decorations that came kind of with the kit. They came so that you can embellish your sweater. So I cut out the outer and the inner in the same red that I did the heart layer with, as well as the background. And the little stamp that I put in the middle of the sweater is from this die, or this stamp set. This is called, let's see if I can find the name of it. Is it on the front? Itty Bitty Sentiments. So they have just little sentiments, and that little love you fit perfectly on that little heart. And I white heat embossed that. So there you have card number 1. I should also mention that the sentiment came from this Heart Animals sentiment. This is from Simon Says Stamp. It's just kind of a very nice Happy Valentine's Day. It's kind of in a typewriter font, which I liked. And I stamped that in some red. I believe that is cranberry red from the Simon Positively Saturated inks. And then I had a little heart embellishment in my stash that I added to this card. I popped the little sweaters up on Fun Foam. If I don't mention it, I popped all of the sweaters. Like most of the cards have 2 sweaters on them. I would have popped one of the sweaters up on some Fun Foam, so it's got a little bit of dimension. I always kind of forget to mention that detail, but just in case your inquiring minds are wondering, yes, they are popped up. For card number 2, continuing with my little blue sweaters, I went ahead and full disclosure, at this point I found out that my mom needs 40 Valentine's Day cards for a thing that they're doing at the church for a group of ladies. So I kind of narrowed down what products I would use and what color palette I would use. And luckily I already had all of the little sweaters made, so I thought, well, let me get some cards made out of this collection for that. So you'll notice that like they're very similar, just a little bit different from going forward, but that's okay. That helped me kind of use up these products, and hopefully if you've got this kit, will help you as well. So for this one, I brought in some pink paper. This is from Spellbinders, rather. This is, I think, their Berry Berry color, I want to say is the name of that color. Again, the 2 little sweaters, one is popped up on some Fun Foam. The embossing folder in the background is from Tailored Expressions, and it is called Sketched Hearts, which is kind of a little cute embossing folder. I really liked it. I used it quite a bit when I was doing these cards. I brought in some more of the pattern paper from Queen and Company. I married those 2 pieces of paper with a Love from Lizzie peel off. And then I also stamped out and heat embossed in gold a sentiment from the Hang On Sentiments. This is called Sending Lots of Love. When I initially stamped it, I didn't realize I don't have a die to cut out the sentiments for this for this stamp set rather. So I only stamped that on cards that I didn't want to cut out and have the sentiment be free floating. But on this one, I just used a regular sentiment strip die, cut that out and mounted that on some Fun Foam, so it's got some dimension. And then I also brought in a Lawn Fawn heart. This is called the Lacy Heart Stackables. I brought that in and just mounted my 2 sweaters on top of that. I brought in some gems from Spellbinders. I want to say these are pink blush, but they're the light pink color that they have. And the little heart here on the sweater is again cut out using the dinky decorations, and the outline heart is cut out in some of that white flocked cardstock that Simon Says Stamp has. Then the inner heart is cut out in some red foil cardstock that Simon Says Stamp has, and then the arrow is some gold specialty cardstock that Simon Says Stamp has. So there you have card number 2. So it's got a little bit of shine as well. For card number 3, continuing on, this time I brought in some foiled sentiments. So this is the glimmered sentiments. This is from Spellbinders. This is Yana's Tiny Sentiment. So it's got this really pretty heart with some dots, and then this You Are Loved sentiment, which I really like. So I foiled those on this red cardstock. This is from Spellbinders as well. And then I took my embossing folder from Spellbinders. This is the molded frame. And I first put I put the piece of cardstock into the folder. Then I lined up where I wanted my sentiments to be. And then I was able to, after I did the glimmering, I went ahead and then did the embossing. So I got this shape. And then this is mounted on some more of that specialty cardstock that I have from Simon Says Stamp. The little heart is also cut out of that specialty cardstock. And again, I had that foiled red cardstock, so it's got a little bit of shine. And then I've brought in some gems from Spellbinders as well, the red gems. And there you have card number 3. For card number 4, again, the cardstock is from Spellbinders. It's one of their really pretty reds. I used that embossing folder again from Tailored Expressions, the sketched hearts. I brought in the little dinky decorations and used their love decorations, and I did that out of the Simon Says Stamp specialty cardstock. I also cut out the outer layer in the foiled red cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. The outer frame here is from Simon Says Stamp, and this is the eyelet layer frames. I thought these were really pretty. So this actually will cut out an entire panel, and I just took a frames die that I have from my stash. This is the Spellbinders Precision Layering A2B set, and was able to kind of cut out along the inside of that, so I got a frame. And then the Be Mine is also from Tailored Expressions. This is the With Love sentiment. So there's the Be Mine, and I also have the dies that go with that. And you'll notice that I've die cut that several times, so that's all stacked up as well. And then my little sweater is also popped up on some fun foam, so it's got dimension. And then I brought in some more of those little red gems from Spellbinders, and there you have card number 4. Starting to lean here. Sorry guys, this will just take a second. It will drive me crazy. And then for card number 5, I brought in a new color. This is again the same color as up here. I think some sort of berry color from Spellbinders. This is that XO from Tailored Expressions With Love collection. This is embossed using, the XO is embossed using the Simon Says Stamp Detailed Sparkle, which is kind of, you can kind of see through it. So I went ahead and I heat embossed the You Are Loved with the silver embossing powder, and I need to find what sentiment stamp set I got that from. Just give me just a second. I have them all down here. Alright, sorry about that. That was in a My Favorite Things little stamp set called Itty Bitty Love. So it's got like a little couple, it's got a couple of little sentiments if you need some. And that's where I got the You Are Love sentiment for that. And I heat embossed that in Simon Says Stamp Silver cardstock. As you can see, this is very similar to this one. I mounted, this is using the molded frame again from Spellbinders. this time I didn't heat emboss or glimmer before I did my embossing. So this was a sentiment that I cut out and stacked. This was stamped and embossed after I did the embossing. The sweater is on some fun foam, so it's got dimension. This is mounted on some Simon Says Stamp specialty cardstock. This is like their disco cardstock. All of these really sparkly ones are. I tried to kind of keep the foil colors consistent with the metallics. I know that metallics are neutral, so that's not necessarily needed, but I, for some reason, like to do that. And then I brought in some gems. These are probably from Pretty Pink Posh in like this pink color. I kind of wanted to keep it monochromatic. And then this little heart here is also from, it's from Trinity Stamps. These are little Bubble Amour. These are little hearts that kind of have this really pretty iridescent color, which look pretty with this pink. So there you have card number 5. For card number 6, I brought in a new background stamp. To me, this is the Good Hearted background from Tailored Expressions. I stamped that with VersaFine ink, and then I heat embossed it with the detail sparkle powder from Simon Says Stamp, and it's just kind of like a really sparkly, kind of iridescent look. I then ink blended on top of that. This is ink blended with the blush ink from Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Inks. Again, I used the lovely border dies from Penny Black. This is the largest border die. I also used, there's this love sentiment in here from the same set. So you can see the little hearts are cut out, and then the background is the same color, so it's very monochromatic. I made 2 of these, one in this color and then one in a bluish green color. I kind of debated switching out the background so you could see the hearts more, but I decided just to keep it in the monochromatic style. I inlaid the love, like the hearts from that Simon Says Stamp specialty cardstock, and then that is of course mounted on several layers, so it's got some dimension. Again, the little heart is from the Dinky Decorations. The outer heart is in that same glitter cardstock, and then the inner heart is in a similar color to the sweater itself. And then I brought again in one of those little Trinity Stamp Bubble Amour hearts. Thought that kind of went nicely. And then I used the Be Mine again from this With Love sentiment set from Tailored Expressions, and of course that's also been heat embossed with some silver, detailed silver embossing powder from Simon Says Stamp, and it's also mounted, so it's got several pieces of cardstock under it, so it's a little bit stacked as well and dimensional. And then I brought in some Spellbinders gems that are in that kind of milky white color, just to kind of keep it all the same color. I thought that one turned out really pretty. And then, let's see here. I'm looking in my camera and it looks like these things are kind of starting to lean. Sorry about that. I have to fix that because they're going this way with me, but I guess my camera is probably crooked. So, and then again, just kind of trying to utilize the same ideas so I don't go crazy. And I make my goal of all these cards for my mom. This is obviously the same kind of vein. Only this time I heat embossed that background stamp in white. Just trying to find that again so I can tell you the name of it. This is the Good Hearted background. And the same concept here. After I heat embossed it, I ink blended that a little bit more with, I believe this is Tide Pool, so it just kind of gives it a little bit of differential between that and then the background hearts, which were also cut out with that lovely border from Penny Black. And this love was again cut out using the little sentiment that came in that, and then this time I used the gold glitter cardstock from Simon Says Stamp because the foil in the Sweaters is a gold color, so just kind of trying to keep it easy. And then I brought in some, these are the peach gems from Spellbinders and a little pink heart. This was in a random mix, so I'm not sure what color that heart is, but it just kind of coordinated nicely with the sweater color. So there you have card number 7. Try to keep these lined up. And then last but not least, card number 8 is not far from card number 2, only this time I didn't mess up the bottom, so I was able to keep it. So there I stamped that sentiment from that Hang On stamp set from earlier, because I knew I didn't need to cut it out. And there it is, sending lots of love. I stamped that, I believe, in the apple color, which went really nicely with this kind of peachy coral color. This is a Spellbinders cardstock. Again, I used the Tailored Expressions sketched hearts to emboss that. I ink blended on top of that with some of the blush ink from Simon Says Stamp. So it's just got a little bit of dimension. And then I brought in the Dinky Decorations again to cut out that love sentiment on the sweater. And I, instead of the O, I just used one of the little hearts. And this is a little bit of a darker orange than the base. And so is the XO. That was cut out using, this is the With Love sentiment again. And I just heat embossed that with some gold. And then I cut out several layers, so that's mounted on several layers and has a little bit of dimension. And then there's some more of the blush gems from Spellbinder and a little white heart that again is from Trinity Stamps, only this is in Tic Tac Jelly Hearts. So they look kind of like little embellishments that are kind of nice to have. So there you have the 8 cards I was able to create using the Tailored Expressions Sweater Weather stencil die. And then of course I have the add-ons for the Valentine's Day sweater. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know how many of you guys have this stencil set, but I hope if you do, this gave you some ideas of how to make little quick Valentine's Day cards with them. I'm hoping to publish the other Valentine's Day cards I create if I can keep up. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I hope that you guys are having a wonderful afternoon and day so far, and we'll chat with you later. Thanks again. Talk at you soon.